Europe's internal fractures deepened this week as Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban launched a blistering attack on both Brussels and Kyiv, accusing them of dragging the continent into an unwinnable war and endangering Hungary's sovereignty. In a fiery social media post, Orban took aim at European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen over her secretive trip to Ukraine and push to accelerate Kyiv's EU accession. President von der Leyen wants to pour further billions into Ukraine, pull Europe further into a losing war, and rush a bankrupt state into the EU. Orban wrote, "She's not serving the member states, she's serving an agenda. Hungary won't go along with this."
Threatening news came from Brussels, because after Manfred Weber, Ursula von der Leyen made a secret trip to Ukraine. The president of the committee announced that it would take decisive steps this year to join the European Union with Ukraine. He also announced that he would like to send more money to Ukraine. He also announced that he would like to bring the European Union even deeper into the Ukrainian war. But this is not the European interest. The European interest is to follow the United States and to come out of the war.
Orban's outburst was compounded days later by a direct confrontation with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, whom he accused of issuing a veiled threat against Hungary under the guise of diplomacy. The spark came when Zelensky told reporters that 70% of Hungarians support Ukraine's EU membership, a statement that Orban dismissed as an attempt to interfere in Hungary's domestic narrative and pressure its leadership. For Orban, the remark crossed a diplomatic line. Interpreting Zelensky's words as a direct challenge, he warned that Hungary cannot be threatened and vowed to respond with open defiance rather than silence.
I avoided responding to any provocative remarks by the president of Ukraine, a habit I had to break this weekend. The reason why you said what you said at the beginning of the question is because I also heard the threat in the Ukrainian president's words. The threatened one threatened us. The words that you quoted can only be interpreted as a primary threat in international political life, and the Hungarians cannot be threatened. We cannot accept that. So, I had to speak up and take on open conflict.
Doubling down, Orban dismissed the war as unwinnable and economically ruinous, vowing Hungary would not fund what he sees as Brussels' blind loyalty to Kyiv.
The European interest is not to continue to put the money of the European people into an unwinnable war, a worthless bag. The European interest is to build a country that strengthens our community, not a country that brings us down. The Hungarian position is clear and we stand by it. We do not want the Hungarian people to pay the price of joining Ukraine.
What began as a policy disagreement has now erupted into a political standoff, with Brussels, Kyiv, and Budapest locked in a widening confrontation. Orban's defiance sends a stark message. Hungary will neither bankroll what it sees as fantasy, nor be bullied into submission.